Good evening, welcome to the live Facebook. This is Wednesday night, the 30th of September, and we shall be talking about this interesting topic that, been on the media and on the stock market. Is on this one here, the US interest rate cut. What's likely to happen? And I want to prep all our members as well, those of you who are listening, the impact of the US interest rate to the US market, as well as to the somewhat touching the Malaysian market. Now, like it or not, a little bit of update. The Malaysian market is still trying to, in its negotiation with the US administration, Trump administration, as such that some of the country, our neighboring country, I believe, Vietnam and Indonesia has already struck a deal within 10 and 15%, but Malaysia is still at 25% the last time that I was checked. And that's why our market seems to be not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, we have a red pentagon as of 30th of July. If you look into, which I'm going to show you next, we already have a red pentagon, so that definitely doesn't pan very well for the Malaysian market. Okay, so we're going to be looking into that. All eyes is on the US market, and as such, a little bit of Trade VSA. We are the first Malaysian digital investment advisor. We are the license holder in here, and it's great thanks to the support that we've been having from all our members. And we also one of the finalists for the investment tech of the year, okay, which is held up in Singapore, and we are quite honored to be the finalist of the investment tech of the year. Now, like it or not, we did a campaign to prove that our Pentagon Guider does work. Of course, not all the time, and you can see Yi Teng Keong with a winning of 19.5% from Netgate, and you can see from here, buying at 128 and selling at 153, so that's a 19.5% gain, right? You definitely make a good one if the market is accessible to the market. Now, year of snakes, which you have shown, not very good year. It's all going to be more of a trading year, right? Such that you don't want to be holding your trade too long. And I've said before, some of the previous episode of Wednesday, we talk about the monthly seasonal, which month is going to be seasonal, and I said before, so make sure you check out those talk on that month. So today, let's look at the FBM KLSE. So we're going to be looking into our dashboard from here onwards. So you can see from here, and let me just break it out. I think it just turned, it's closed back with a spring. Previously, I thought that it actually closed with, so there was a rebound back, I think it's on the last minute, okay, 0.68 point, closed back up, so that's pretty good. I thought there was going to be a red pentagon, but instead, there wasn't any red pentagon. Around 4 o'clock, I think the last minute buy up was the resounding push to turn the market positive. So that's pretty good so far, but that has created a spring, which means lower prices at 1520 has been rejected here. Okay, so that means there's support at 1520. This is the level here, 1520 in here, and then the market should make a rebound from here onwards. So that's good. It didn't turn. Looking at the Nasdaq, so we will see the, we can see from here too, Nasdaq, you can see still in a nice up pentagon. So you can see up pentagon, no doubt about it. It has been having a nice run for the last, since 6th of June. All right, we can also check it out from here. Echo Lab has returned back 2%. Okay, let me see. NQ, and it's been moving up nicely in here. So that means trend continue to push on for our Nasdaq market, but then our KLCI just move sideways from here onwards. Okay, let's look at the wicks, which I've shared with you earlier on, which is the fear indicator. Still points down to higher closing, okay, with the exception of yesterday. Okay, yesterday we have a big mark back up to 15, so we saw the sell-off on the US side yesterday. Whenever there's a sell-off, you get this. If the trend is still pretty much heading upwards, okay, pretty heavy, it's been up in a very nice trend, but if we do see a big sell-off on the Nasdaq, then we have to be very careful. 2 bars, okay? We need to have 2 bars, consecutive bars, to sort of define. If you look back, so far here we haven't got anything yet. And if you look at the FKLI, which is the futures chart, which is also good, you have 2 bar down, reverse back, so you can see the trend were not that conclusive enough, right? There were a couple of hovering down here, market started back here. You got a lot of higher prices are rejected at 1540, but for the US market it's not. But wicks still turn towards today. Now also looking into the what we call our monthly seasonal. So July, I'm still thinking of a positive close, but it does look like we just closed minus 0.55. June was a bad month, you can see, right? Instead we closed with a 1%. So that leaves us August to be the interesting month to look at. So the season has changed a bit, but September is consistently bad. So I do think that the good times are coming very short to an end with regards to the August month. You see, August, we have a lot of positive months. So FKLI positive for the month of August. But you can see we are caught in some sort of a range bound area here. Let me show you what I mean. So let me get on to, yeah, you got this line here, trend line here, and then you have another trend line here. Okay, so that seems to be ranging. The 2-bar reversal goes up here. Alright, you can also draw a symmetric triangle. Alright, so that also tells you that this market at one point of time, it has to break up or break down. Break up or break down in this manner. But I think the upside is more. Right, we are just still below 7% down for the entire year. For the KLCI in here, they're still down 7%. There isn't much to look for our market, right? And one of the reasons why is because you see foreign funds are still leaving our country from just top of this dashboard. If you're not a member yet, you might want to join us and get this very good information. You got the 725 137, and then you have 7 July 28. It's still negative. Out from here we have a couple of days of positive outflow. So we need that foreign funds to come back in. As of now, what I've just mentioned with the ongoing tariff that hasn't reached a conclusion yet, right? We are also seeing that 25%. It's still buggering a lot of our market, not able to go higher from then onwards. Yeah, that seems to be the issue that we are facing, which I'll talk about foreign funds. So foreign funds. All right, now let's move on to why now. Why is the US interest rate? It's, of course, it's due to this man here that you see, Donald Trump, for his second administration. And he has been a big advocate of easy money anything that is favorable for his Trump administration, including interest rate cut. Now, like it or not, we all know interest rate has been maintained high, around the 4.25 to 4.5% for the US. Now, reason is he sees that a higher stock market, especially in the context compared to Joe Biden at that time, right, will favor him, making him the greatest US president of all time, right? We know that he is also wanted to be known as the president of peace for, for bringing the ceasefire between Cambodia and Thailand. That's also happening now. So he wants to claim to all this achievement, and of course a higher stock market is very favorable for that. And one of the way to have a higher stock market is to cut interest rate. So that's why he demanded this. Now this is way back in January. He's been talking, and every time when there is a chance for him to bring it up with the US Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. Now bear in mind, Jerome Powell is been taught that Donald Trump wants to end his term early because he has less than 1 year of contract, and he's going to bring in a yes man from the Trump administration. So any interest rate cut is going to be a yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. So that is why we are seeing, right? Now, of course, why don't Donald Trump want a higher interest impact? Now, this is from the investing.com, one of the articles. And of course, right now, the inflation in US is edging higher. Now, we all know that whenever you have a high interest rate, debt servicing, it's going to be pricey. Housing slow, okay, because people don't want to pay higher debt. Higher borrowing costs lead to lower profit margin. Okay, so that's all we all know, right? And Malaysia has cut interest rate, right? I think just early 2 weeks ago. And we saw a lot of the banking shares being impacted, right? If you look at M-Bank, Maybank, Affinbank, all this started to dip lower because a lower interest rate will play into the margin of the banking in here. And of course, when you have higher interest rate, you're going to have rising default on debt servicing. And most corporate also, right, this point here, let me just bring this up, do share buyback, right? It's one of the method that we see the continuing higher high of the US market. If you take your example, Apple, who have tons, billions of cash reserve in here. So one of the things to prop up the share of the company and also the CEO pay, because a lot of the CEO pay are tied back into the performance of the share prices. So as usually, corporate do a lot of share buyback, and definitely when you have higher interest rate, that's a no-no. And also dividend are used by cheap debt. Okay, so all in all, a favorable stock market should come from a lower interest rate regime. Now, if you look back before the 2020 era, okay, S&P 500 has been going up, but you do notice going back to 1984, the Fed funds have come down, right, until we have the 2009. What happened there, right? It's because we have the global financial crisis. Yeah, the global financial crisis where the CDO toxic interest rate just dropped to around zero in here, and since then it maintained back up around 4%. But on hindsight, if you look at the market with the continuing drop of the bond, which does make up a representation of the US Treasury yield, it correlated to the Federal Reserve, Feds, the market actually does go higher. Now, one of the reasons why is you see is the influx of evolution and technology. We have that during the COVID, we have the tech shares moving higher. Then the last 1 year, 1.5 years, we have the era of the generative AI. You've seen that, right? The S&P 500 continue to go up as we see the major weightage of the S&P 500 are influenced by a lot of these so-called heavyweight tech companies, including all the Magnificent Seven and the generative AI like NVIDIA. So if you have a chance, we're going to be looking into those two. So one of the things on the website you want to be looking is the US Fed Watch. So I'm going to share with you. We're going to go down to here, right? The US Fed Watch. Let me just bring it up. Okay, there you go. So you want to go to the current. All right. So I'm going to give you this website where you can put in the levels. Okay. Okay. So that is the website. And let me just show you what I mean from here. So this is the monthly Fed Watch that they do a survey among all the analysts and also economists. So you can see right now on these are the dates, 30th of July, when the Federal Reserve meet, all the way to 9th of December. So they meet every quarter. So during this quarter, they will come out and say, hey, we're going to cut rates or don't cut rates. That's basically it. So the target probability for 30th of July Federal Reserve, the current interest rate is 4.25 to 4.5. And we can see here, 97% stays at 4.25 to 4.5. Only 3% say there is going to be a 25 basis point reduction, basically an interest rate cut. So what does that mean? Right? So it simply says from this picture here, the Federal Reserve will be unchanged. And like it or not, the next FOMC meeting is what time here as it's ticking? 4 hours. So I think they will meet at, this is, I think 4 hours, right? 4 hours you add in Malaysia time will be past midnight. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, if we see a big jump of the interest rate, in a big jump in the stock market, there may be a cut. But right now, the Fed Watch is forecasting unchanged. So market is going to do what it's going to do. If you look right now at the Nasdaq, it's up 0.4% for the futures. YM1. Okay, and it's going to be 30th of January, unchanged. And we look at the S&P 500 ES1, there is no big movement. Okay, it's almost unchanged. So, so we have to see going into past midnight whether this market will stay as is it or it's going to be volatile. Let me know what you think. Put it into the comment in here. Now this website, which I put it on the comment, it's very, very useful, especially if you want to look at the probability and historical and so forth. All right, which I'm going to go on next. So we're going to look at the market right now, and this is something that I use ChatGPT to generate before and after of the interest rate. Now we know the interest rate cut, right? You can see 18th of December was the last rate that they cut. And if you go back to the date, where do they normally meet? It's 9th of December, 10th of December, okay? So those are the dates. So sometimes they may cut sooner, not exact the date, all right? And they will do the announcement. So, excuse me, we all know 2020 was the COVID, okay? They have to cut rates, right? Then March, 3 of March and 15th of March, they cut rates. But the market was already going down already. But as soon as the 15th of March 2020, the market, okay, went up by plus 15%. Okay, prior to that, 15th of March, the market did not go up. But after 15th of March, the market go up. So let's take a look on 15th of March, 2020. So I'm just going to bring up the March 2020. Yeah. Oh, this long time. I'm going to go switch to a weekly chart. Put it up. 2020 is down here. Okay, March 2020. Further down some more. Wow. All the way. Yeah, this is where we have the COVID. This is where the interest rate cut. Okay. March 15. Okay, so March 15 is there. This is where the big COVID came out. March 15 they cut interest rate because there was, and then the market shot straight up. Of course, that's during the COVID time. But let's take a look of the more recent one. 18th of December last year. Leading to that, we have 1 month. Okay, but we have January this year, 2025. What happened, right? When Donald Trump came in, there was a lot of talk about tariff. The market actually fell after that. But after that, it came out on the June was a Liberation Day, and the market started to adapt to it as more and more countries like Indonesia as well as Cambodia all have their so-called agreement with US to lower down the tariff, and price has been slowly absorbed into the US market, and since then the market has climbed up. But if you look overall, the picture I'm trying to present to you is prior to the interest rate cut. As I said before, any interest rate cut generally are very beneficial, okay? Because when you have interest rate cut, you have lower cost of borrowing, more corporate share buyback, like I checked here. So that's why the reason market will go higher, okay? So let's look at the next one. S&P 500, same story too. All right, 6th of November, you got 4%, and this is the before and after. But in the month of January, we have the market falling after Donald Trump came in. Okay, market fall, and since then, it has recovered back. And then for Nasdaq, very similar too. Okay, so something between low teens, 4 to 5% upside from here. So if you do see an interest rate cut this round, which I don't think so, because the US Federal Reserve has priced in for unchanged, and we're going to get down to the next likelihood of an interest rate cut in the couple of slides from here onwards. Okay, now this is where we talk about the probability of the next interest rate cut. So again, in the same website, CME, you go over to the probability. Let me just show you which one I'm talking about here. So you go to the Federal Reserve and you go to probability. You can see this one, and click on this, you will see this chart. Okay, so I will talk about this chart. So in this chart, we have the 7th of 30th, which is 30th of July, which is a 97% of unchanged. Now, current rate is 4.25 to 4.5. So the next meeting after tonight will be the September 17. That has a higher probability, a 60% rate cuts. Alright, but as the day draw closer and closer to September, you'll see that number started to change. Okay, until today. So today they're pretty sure no rates cut. So no excitement lah. After that, October have a 50% cut. But right now you can see 60%. Don't talk about what we call December. Okay, that's too far ahead. See whether they cut one. My take is that there should be 2 more cuts for 2025. If you look back at 2024, there were 2 cuts, right? September and November. Oh no, there were 3 cuts. September, November, and December. So September, November, December. So 60%, 50%, 42%. Maybe they do that, but at least 2 interest rate cut. At least they do 1 or so good, but all depends on the interest rate. So conclusion, no cuts for tonight. More likely will be in September. So these are the date, and you have the Federal Reserve dates to go with it that will keep you satisfied for the US interest rate. Now, as such, we're going to be looking at some of the stocks Now, if you have any stocks that you want me to look at, feel free to pencil in. My take is the investment theme, whatever you are, unchanged. The AI team, okay, the Magnificent Seven team, the ETF team, those will work very, very well. All right. Palantir, anything that has an AI will do well. So of course I want to look at the more popular one here. All right. If you have any stocks you want me to look at, feel free to put it in. I'll be happy to showcase to you. Okay, so I'll just make this a bit bigger. Switch back to daily charts and turn it up. So Nvidia continued to, I think Nvidia turned red pentagon already, yeah. Oh, turn red, and then turn red, and then turn back green on Monday. See, that's a good entry too at this point. Okay, a pullback started to turn up. All right, so Nvidia is a go-go, TSM, and now try to enter on the spot of the green pentagon. A lot of people entered so far away. TSM looks pretty good too, but this one is not as good as Nvidia lah. Nvidia better. That's Nvidia. Now Amazon. Now you all have the SmartRobie app. Now if you don't, you can download it in here. All the Pentagon Guider is in the SmartRobie app. So this one is still looks good. Okay. Amazon still straight up. Microsoft also same thing. Straight up. Okay. Only Apple have some news about closing stores in US. So that's why it actually turned red pentagon. As a matter of fact, Apple is one of the worst performing so far. It's down 15% for the year. It tried to go back higher. There's an earning coming, so we'll see how's that earning going to be impacted. Now, what has changed the trajectory of Apple is that the Apple Intelligence has not been the main theme for their growth story. Okay, so you see that there hasn't been that growth story, so that's why you see Apple is range bound after falling from the old high about 225 and switching on the high side in here. If they don't do anything about the AI, they will not fetch the kind of premium. So right now, if you just scroll over and you go to the metrics for fast financial, you can see their price to earning is 33 times, which is respectable. And if you look into others like Nvidia, their price earning is 56 times, right? So you can see that a 30 times jumping to a 40 times, that will be a lot of difference in here. So that what makes the market in. So okay, we look at KMI. That's a good one too. KMI is a Kindle. It's now remember, this is oil and gas. So oil and gas, am I correct? No, oil and gas. No, gas. This is a gas counter. Now gas counter is not going to go on the same sentiment like what we see for the technology. Okay, it's going to a lot depend on the conflict that we are seeing, and also the supply. When we talk about conflict, is the Russian-Ukraine war, as well as the ongoing Gaza and also Israel, right? That will be into play. We also see that there are resistance around the $28. Okay, so let's look at Kindle. Kindle usually will have a very low PE. Yeah, see, 22 times, right? They don't get the kind of premium that they will get. So that is on the fundamental side. Now, in terms of technical, you can see right here, the market is really range bound here. Okay, range bound. When you hit the support here, rebound back. When you hit the resistance, it's time to exit. So this is something that you need to adapt to it. Good one, Tom. All right, thank you for your support. All right, now when it comes to KLCI, right, also our market, if you look at the KLCI, it's not much. You can see industrial product, we got the telecommunication. Now last week everything was big on construction, but it just dropped off. Okay, previously of property, it started to drop off as the market sooner. So again, KL is in this very tight, narrow band. US trade along the technology, you'll be much better from then onwards. So next one we want to go on is the US sector. You can see from our VSA 360, you can log on to that. Technology been up 20, yeah, you can see technology up very nicely. 29 days, XLP, XLV, these are my favorite. This one is red pentagon, but hasn't turned yet. Okay, but this one has gotten higher because the volume has not made up. But definitely this is supposed to be higher in here, right? But the volume in here has not turned to it. You know, sometimes that's where Pentagon Guider works. It need to have the kind of volume that is supposed to see. All right. Let me know, okay, what you like to look into. Okay, we done that. So my favorite will be along these lines, XLY, which is still uptrend, so you want to be trading those, which is consumer discretionary, right? XLP, sideways market, not the strong one. So we look for one with a stronger trend, trending up. XLV, yeah, this one has turned, no, this is healthcare. That's the one with the consumer discretionary. Yeah, this is the one, XLY, still uptrend. So XLY is something you want to be looking at too. Okay, for our own Malaysian stock, now if you don't have any, if you do have some penciling, we'll be looking at this favorite one. So one is IJM, which is the more favorite one, but IJM has turned red pentagon, so be careful. Okay, on that one, Gamuda. Okay, adjust. Still okay, still going up in a nice trend in here. So if you want to go in and play this trade, put your very tight stop loss at 513. If you break down, you want to be out. Okay, if the trend doesn't change. So you got Sunway. Sunway has got caught in the MAA scheme, where one of the Sunway employee will engage in bribery of the data center, and that also causes the market to sell off like that. But since then it has hold its ground. YTL Power, market has stabilized in here, right? But do take note, this market has been running for some time. It can turn red pentagon very fast. You want to be trading at the front line of here, not at the back of here. Okay, that what history and our back testing have shown. Zactrix also, they lost the foreign workers renewal permit, so that has also break out. But take note, the market actually broke earlier on the 15th of July, so you got plenty of time to exit if you have followed that. Just another interesting stock is called Tenko. This is a penny stock. Wow, look at that one. Drop 9%, but then again, this market has already a red pentagon. It's time to leave. If you have followed on these are all the so-called Wild West share. If you look at this green pentagon, market follow up very nicely. Okay, so you have any stocks, let me know. Else I'm going to stop here, keep it short. Okay, and we'll come back to understanding the Pentagon algo. The market stages is important. Right now, the KLCI, what stage do you think it is? I still think that we are in the accumulation stage. US may be in stage 3 distribution, right? So market might just sort of taper off, right? Any stocks, let me know, members. I'd like to describe them. If not, we will end our session here. I've given you a good update on the interest rate, which is always my intention. Keep up to date with it. Our premium membership is still ongoing. We are going to be raising the price soon, right? But for our current member, still enjoy the old rates. Don't forget to join our Telegram chat room for all our stock market, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's all for tonight. Thank you for coming. I hope you learned something too.